Better living through chemistry is a great slogan. I grew up with it. We believed it, that chemistry would make our lives better, it would make our lives more enriched, it would make our lives easier. And it really wasn't until Rachel Carson came along and the rivers in Ohio started to spontaneously combust and catch on fire that people began to question the ideology that the chemical world was a better world. I mean, we used to say ignorance is bliss, but of course, when you're dealing with chemicals, ignorance is very dangerous.
How do you write it? Chemicals. K for chemicals? Do I write K?
The challenge is that industry has been given almost a free ride on determining what is safe and what isn't, what can be in products and what cannot. It's presumed that the capitalist system will, just of its nature, result in the right kind of products that people want. So if you look at back post-World War II when we started Better Living Through Chemistry, everybody was so enamored with the ability to use petroleum products and make them into a million things. Nobody asked the question, are there consequences of that? Now you have industries that are built up around that have been using these chemicals that are cheaper, that are effective. They work, they line food cans, they make your nail polish stay on longer. All those things are efficient, and there's not a direct cause and effect of one exposure and one disease. So it all gets hidden within that system. And there's tremendous economic incentive not to do anything about it. Corporations' primary responsibility is to return profit to their shareholders.
The industry either has the knowledge about what the dangers are, or they have the knowledge that they don't know what the possible dangers are. And people who are consumers don't have that same knowledge. They are assuming that industry would not poison them, that industry will not poison them. But of course that has turned out not to be true.
Can I please put some of this on? Because I like the lipstick, and I like how it's like a flower and hearts. Please, Mama, can I please put some on?
No. You know why? Do you want to know what it says on the back of it?
Please, 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 please. Please, Mommy, please. Mommy.
Read. For California only. California Proposition 65 warning. Warning, this product contains chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects and other reproductive harm.
Alberto heard you. Out, stiffness. Now I spray upon your hair a fine hairspray that isn't there. A flexible hold a brush can go through. That's the miracle of Nitrile D. Now an Alberto VO5 hairspray.
A flexible hold a brush can go through. Thank goodness he left the VO5 hairspray.
Breast cancer risk has increased dramatically since the introduction of all of these chemicals unregulated into our everyday lives. And there's no regulatory agency that says, wait a minute, in the presence of harm, of the evidence of harm, we need to have a protective approach. That does not exist in this country. We have to prove they're harmful with certainty in order for them to be banned or there to be a warning. As opposed to, you have to prove that they're safe and that I can give them to my child.
Pretend that? You said, yeah, you can put it on. Mom, can I put this on? For pretend that you said, yeah, okay?
There are 80,000 chemicals that are being used in the United States today. Less than 1% of them have been fully tested so that we know what what the consequences are of their use in everyday life. There are 800 new chemicals that are going into the marketplace every year. Most of those are not tested. And so we have this incredible blind faith that all these chemicals that are being put into the marketplace are not going to harm us. And we're conducting a grand experiment without any purpose, because 20, 30, 40 years from now, our children are going to find out which of these chemicals are dangerous. But by then it's too late. The damage has already been done. So this is something that we absolutely have got to change the laws now so that we test chemicals before they're put into commerce and not wait for studies that are done decades later.
I think our naivete is that the government itself has a heart and soul. And I'm not a cynic, but it is not an entity that lives and breathes that. It doesn't do the right thing by virtue of the fact that it is government. It does the right thing by virtue of the fact that we demand it. It is individual people working in individual places that have to take it on. When the public becomes outraged at the certainty of the science and the failure of policy, when people decide that they will not buy something, when they refuse, that's when things move. But it's a lot of public will. It has to matter somewhere.
It says warning.
That's all it says?